Hi friends, today I'm going to tell you the story of Vishaka, who was foremost of the Buddha's lay disciples. She was known for her generosity. Without much ado, just let us get into the story. Vishaka was born in the state of Anga of Magadha to a very wealthy family. The family was very spiritual and they had a lot of merits because of their previous births. When she was hardly 7 years, Vishaka heard a discourse by the Buddha and reached the first level of sanctification or enlightenment, which is known as Sotapanna. The entire family started following the Buddha's teachings, and word spread around, and King Pasendi of Kosala wanted this family to resettle at Saket, which is present day Ayodhya, so that they can be an example for the other families staying there. Accordingly, Vishaka just went to Saket and settled there. It so happened that when she turned 16, the neighboring state, there was a very wealthy banker known as Migara who was looking out for a bride for his son, Puyavardhana. Puyavardhana had certain attributes, wanted certain attributes in his bride, which was not only beauty but also equally wisdom, intellect, everything combined together. So, accordingly, Migara named certain Brahmins who would go from state to state and find out an ideal bride for his only son. They came to where Vishaka was staying when it was raining quite heavily. And Vishaka was walking along the road, but she was walking with a very, very slow gait. She was not coming under any shelter. The Brahmins thought that she was lazy, but when she was questioned, she said that a marriageable girl, if she loses a limb, then she would not be able to serve her family. Looking at her beauty and the way she answered with confidence and wisdom, the Brahmins felt that this is the ideal girl which Puyavardhana is seeking. Everything fell into place, and Vishaka was about to get married. On the day of her marriage, her father gave her a lot of cows, which was, in those times, it was given as dowry. She was given quite a quantity of cows, but it so happened that all the remaining cows in the household also wanted to go with Vishaka, and the gates automatically opened, it's believed, because in her earlier births she had served a lot of cows. So those cows were giving her, wanted to be in her company, even in her marital home. On the day of her marriage, her father gave her 10 rules which she should follow in her marital home. I would like to read some of the rules. These rules are still followed by during marriage functions in many Buddhist countries. A wife should not criticize her husband and an in-laws in front of other people. A wife should listen to her, whatever her in-laws say, and they should not listen to stories of other households. As a second rule. The third rule is things should be lent to those people who will return it back, the money back. Fourth rule was things should not be lent to people who will not return your things back. The fifth rule that he told her was if poor people who deserve and who cannot return the money back, they can be given the money. Sixth is a wife should sit very gracefully, and also on seeing her parents-in-law or her husband, she should get up and show her respect. And seventh rule was before she has her food, she should see that her parents-in-law and her husband are served food. Servants in the household should be treated very nicely. Eighth rule was before going to sleep, all the doors and all the windows and furniture, everything should be locked. The ninth rule was a parents-in-law and husband should be treated very carefully like fire. The 10th rule was a parents-in-law and husband should be treated with due respect due to devas. With all these rules and with all the set values, Vishaka slowly started settling in her marital home. But she had differences of opinion with her father-in-law, was Migara, because he was following Jainism. he would not like her values for Buddha's teachings. One day, a monk was passing by, and Migara was having his porridge in a golden bowl. He would not get up, or neither would he acknowledge the Buddhist monk. So Vishaka told the monk that, please go ahead, my father eats stale food. Looking at this expression, the father in law, anyways, would not like his daughter in law, Vishaka, so he told her to return to her mother's place. But Vishaka, since she had all the values which she wanted and her father's instructions, she told very politely to her father in law, Megara, that she would definitely go if the 8 Brahmins who had selected her act as arbitrators, and she would explain her stance. Accordingly, those 8 Brahmins were called, and she was asked the reason why she talked about stale food. She said that the father in law was having the food and he was not earning the future fruits of his merits by donating. Whatever he had eaten, or what he was eating, was all stale food from the past karmas that he had. He was not reaping any new fruits from his present actions. Looking at the wisdom of her words, the Brahmins agreed that what Vishaka had said was proper. Even Migara, after listening to his daughter-in-law, slowly started understanding her point of view. It so happened that Buddha had come to Savatthi, where she was, and she invited the Buddha to their house for meals. Migara did not come in front of the Buddha, but he listened to the discourse of the Buddha after the meals. After listening to the Buddha's discourse, even Migara attained the first level of enlightenment. He became a Sotapanna. The entire family then started listening to the Buddha's teachings and donating very much generously to the Buddhist Sangha. It is said that Vishaka donated every day, gave alms to 500 monks at her residence. She would donate a lot of money to the monastery also. In the afternoon, she would go to the monastery and listen to the discourses of the Buddha whenever he was in Savatthi. It so happened that once, when she had got to the monastery, she had worn a lot of jewelry which she forgot at the monastery. Next day she asked Ananda, and he said the jewelry is lying there. But she felt that since she had left it at the monastery, it belongs to the monastery, and she decided to sell the jewelry. But nobody was buying the jewelry because it was very expensive. It was not in their means to buy it. So Vishaka, with her money itself, bought the jewelry and decided to build a temple in Savatthi, and she decided to donate it to the Buddha, which was known as the Migara Mata temple. She got her name Migara Mata because Migara, her father-in-law, decided that she was his spiritual mother, and that is why she should be his mother, and that is why Migara Mata. Vishaka understood and the Buddha's teachings slowly. She always decked very well to the best of her clothes. Slowly she developed insight, and she decided to live a life of a householder with very simple and dignified clothes. She was known as a Ga in terms of, or the foremost in terms of generosity. Whenever the Buddha would come to Savatthi, he would always pay a visit to her house for meals. She had laid a lot of example for many lay disciples of the Buddha. She lived a life of a householder. She had 10 sons, 10 daughters, and everybody, including the grandchildren, also followed the Buddha's teachings. She stayed till the end a lay disciple of the Buddha. She lived till the age of 120 and died. Looking at the story of Vishaka Migara Mata, I have certain takeaways from it. One should always earn merits by way of donating whatever it is possible, because for a householder, when we donate, we get less ego. We become little less ego. We have less ego when we donate. And also, she had so much of wisdom and intellect. She was able to balance her family as well as her spirituality in a very, very nice way. Each of you can draw your own conclusions from this story. May all beings be happy. Sarva Sabbattu Mangalam.